iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome in here tonight, race fans. It is Wednesday night, so that means the Best Golf Creations Pro Series is back here with the Upstate Racing League right here from the South Boston Speedway. It's tax season, so Al Speed Shop, well, they told us the tax season is over here in the United States, so that means it's time to go racing from the big boss man himself of Al Smith. So what do you say we start talking about tonight's race? And to bring you all that racing action, my name is Roger Muth, and alongside me here tonight is the famous Kelly Daw. Kelly, welcome here to Virginia. It's for lovers.
Yeah, it took me the longest time to learn that, south of Boston Speedway has nothing to do with Boston, Massachusetts, and is actually in Virginia. But we're in the right place now. We're at this great racetrack, and it is basically built for these machines. The late model stocks are fantastic around this track, and I'm sure we are going to get a great race here tonight with multiple lanes of racing.
Just a little bull ring here in Virginia is what it is a long way from its, owner's parent track, which is the Pocono International Raceway in Pocono. You don't see this track, it's not on the NASCAR schedule, but it's going to put on some of the best short-track racing we have all season, especially with 25 of the best drivers here with the Upstate Racing League. So what do you say as you see the cars start to populate down there? That means it can only mean one thing. So it is race time here tonight. Let's get that starting lineup here tonight going. And your starting lineup here for 25 drivers, 150 laps here tonight, look like this. Snagging the pole in car number 6, that'll be Joe Schaefer Jr. To the outside of him, a two-time winner here at the SoBo Speedway, car number 15, to Matthew Barkhouse. Mike Alexander in car number 75 will roll from the third position, while Guillaume Fortin will start number 13 in P number 4. Brian Hacker in car number 2 will start back into the 5th spot, while Matthew Eddy will start car 88 in 6th. Blake Timmons, car number 23, will roll from the 7th starting spot here tonight, while Scott Austin in the Austin Designs number 5 will go 8th. 9th will be the number 31 of Logan Powers, and rounding out the top 10, that'll be Mad Max Matt McLean in car number 88.
Ty Delphia will be rolling off in 11th in that 013 car with Bill Martin to his outside. Stephen Rochford will be starting off back in the 13th spot, and Big Boss Man himself, Al Smith Jr., starts in 14th. Brian Bianchi will be rolling off in 15th in that number 14 car with Rodney Huntoon in the 47 to his right. Rex Hoyle will be starting all the way back in 17th place with the 91 of Adam Gable to his outside. Mike Peake will be starting back in the 19th, and Jimmy McIntyre in the 81 rounds out our top 20.
Starting back into the 21st starting spot here tonight out of New York, driving car number 18, that'll be Gavin Isley. And back in 22nd, then, the Canadian Maple Leaf car number 92, that'll be Adam Turner. The driver out of Tennessee, the Crossville, Tennessee Bucky's Love Stop, car number 98 of Jason Dobbs, will start 23rd. 24th will be Ryan Holland out of New York, and then it'll be Tyler Bushy in car number 15, starting back into the 25th position. That's the 25 cars here tonight for the Al Speed Shop night here. Tax season is over 125. If you are in the, RC market, there's only one place to get your parts, and that is at Al Speed Shop. Check out Al Speed Shop over on Facebook, along with over on the www. World Wide Web is what they tell me that actually stands for, but we're ready. Tax season's over, Kelly. Congratulations on your $15 US.
Yeah, and Al knows you guys are all getting your tax returns coming in soon, so he's wanting you to spend those tax returns there at his speed shop. But right now, we're going to have to get our focus back to the racetrack here as Joe Schaefer Jr. leads the field through turns 3 and 4, and we're about to get started racing.
So we're coming into the restart zone here tonight for the first time. The Best Colorful Creations Pro Series is going to come to life with these late models as the green flag is up for 125 laps here tonight at the South Boston Speedway as the Epic Media number 6 will lead us here into turn number 1 for the first time. And storming down the back straightaway, they are side by side for the race lead.
And that outside lane seeming to be working right now as Matthew Barkhouse gets his nose ahead, now getting a good run down the front straightaway. He'll be completely clear of Joe Schaefer Jr., and he will lead in lap number 1. So the two-time winner trying to make it 3 in a row here as that 15 car leads the 13 and the 6.
One driver up the speedway a little bit there down to curve number 3. That was going to be the number 88 of Matthew Eddy. He's now able to corral the Buick and get back down to the bottom side of the speedway, but everybody chasing car number 15 as the first caution flag of the evening will come out as the Misfit Motorsports number 81 of Jimmy McIntyre is pointed into the wrong direction. As it looks like he's having some problems trying to get that car going here as the field is coming by. So he'll go a lap down, unfortunately, here on lap number 4. But the caution flag flying for the first time here tonight. Take the look back. What do we see? There's the W6 of Michael Peak. Still, there it is. I was going to say, I'm being told he was involved. There's the 91 of, I believe, that is Adam Gable. There's Racing Jason coming on through there. McIntyre, the car that is left stranded, though, sitting there. There was Michael Peak. You just saw him. Let's see if we can ride on board, actually, here. This is on board with the Misfit Motorsports, number 81 of Jimmy McIntyre. There you see the contact out in front of him. Just nowhere to go as he was riding the high lane down the straightaway. And you see everybody piling on in here. Everybody is able to keep on going here, but, well, they have a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the 81 just getting smacked right from the back there, and that lifted the rear end up into the air and spun him right around. So some heavy damage to the back end of that car, a little bit of damage to the front as well. And like you said, it was hard for him to get himself turned back around before the field went by, so that will put him a lap down. But I believe he will get a lucky dog at some point here tonight.
Yeah, you talk about some point here tonight. One of the smallest tracks that we go to on the schedule here with the Upstate Racing League. And, well, this may be the first caution flag here tonight. We don't think it'll be the last. When you look at the schedule, we ran Oxford last week. Now we're here at the South Boston Speedway. 2 very small tracks on the schedule back to back. We do go to Langley next week, another smaller scale track before we start to increase the size before we end the season this year at the Bristol Motor Speedway per Al's schedule here. I actually think that is a mistake, Kelly.
Yeah, I've got one schedule here saying Lanier, one schedule saying Bristol. We'll have to clarify where we're going to go, but now the field is going to be stacked back up. However, we're going to get another lap around in pacing, but Matthew Barkhouse electing to go to that outside lane, and I'm not surprised by that, considering how fast he just tore around that 6 car on the outside of the initial start.
Yeah, we got that dynamic track back here with high racing as the pace car does dive into the pit road this time. So lap number 7 goes in the books, and the green flag comes back out here at the South Boston Speedway. And another great start by the outside for the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Here he will clear the number 13 of Guillaume Fortin down into turn number 3, but a little bit of a slip-up allows the 13 to fight back. But at the line, it'll still going to be the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse.
And the points championship, still a battle between the 13 and the 2. And look at these two, not separated by much here on the racetrack either, as Guillaume Fortin trying to get around the bottom of the 15 of Barkhouse. Barkhouse really maintaining some great pace with the slight banking that this track does have on that outside.
So as these drivers are jockeying for position here, trying to see where the Austin Designs number 2 is going to come down to the bottom side of the speedway. There's Blade Timmons in his Christmas theme number 23, currently sitting there into the 5th position. He's been able to pick up 2 spots since the drop of the green flag, and now Brian Hacker will be able to fall right in line there, splitting the 6 of Schaefer and the 23 of Timmons. That's how they run. Currently, everybody inside the top 10 has gone single file already. I say that as now the battle for the race lead brews again here as Guillaume Fortin to the inside for the race lead.
Yeah, Guillaume not giving up his chance to battle for the race lead here. However, he's got to consider what his tires are maybe going to be looking like if he keeps trying to attack that bottom lane, as it kind of restricts him from being able to power off and widen that corner on the exit as he's got that other car to the outside. So he's got to be careful with those tires, but they do have an extra set in the pits if they want to change, and we saw that tire strategy really kind of play out last week at Oxford Plains.
So right now, some of these drivers into conservative mode. Don't tell that to the number 5 there of Scott Austin as he works to the inside of car number 39. That's the doctor of Bill Martin working the outside. A little bit of a bobble that time, though, at turn number 4 for the Austin Designs number 5 of Scott Austin right behind this. But, oh! Up the track goes the 39 of Bill Martin. He'll pound the outside wall that time out of turn number 2. I don't know. I'm looking at that right front fender. It looks like it pancaked it pretty square coming off.
Yeah, he did manage to get that thing completely even with the wall when he got into it, but that looked like it'd be a little bit of net code contact between himself and the car that was on his inside. I believe that was the 66 of Stephen Rochford, but that cost him a few spots. However, I don't think his car is too banged up. He looks to be battling quite well, keeping some good pace as he goes around the outside of Al Smith Jr. We have a caution once again. Looks like their car turns in turn number 2.
A little bit of a glitch to the system there as the caution flag flies once again here at the South Boston Speedway. Looks like Ryan Holland and a couple of the drivers here tonight involved in this one. We'll watch this one back as soon as the truck says, oh, there they go, they got it. There you see a little contact there. That's the 18 down to the inside of Gavin Isley. And there goes Holland, just lost it going into the corner then after the contact and got a little help around he's going to go. And you see the 15 there, the 9's taxis. Maple City Auto, number 15, Ryan Holland, points it back into the right direction, but he'll lose a ton of positions, and, well, those tires are not going to be happy themselves.
And I just saw him let the pace car by, so I think he may have also gone a lap down because of that spin, and that's just a product of where he spun, because as soon as, before he could get himself pointed back in the right direction, the pace car had already gone by him and already exited pit road, so he's going to be not only brought to the tail end of the field, but also be scored a lap down along with Jimmy McIntyre, who I believe will get the wave round this time.
Yeah, and there you see Jimmy McIntyre in car number 81. He is going to be able to get back around the race leader, so put him back onto the lead lap. 3 cars being scored a lap down or off the racetrack right now. Adam Turner, Ryan Holland, and Adam Gable. So right now, if your name is Adam out on the Speedway, it doesn't look like it's a good night to start here at the South Boston Speedway. We do have 20 laps completed here tonight in the Al Speed Shop. Tax season's over 125, so, well, we almost got 25 in out of 125.
Yeah, laps will tick by very quickly here at this track. It is a very short track, like you mentioned, and also with a little bit of banking that it does have, just 12 degrees in the corners, it allows these cars to really rip around this track in under 15 seconds. So these laps kind of go by quickly, and it may kind of creep up. The end of the race might creep up on these drivers.
Couple of drivers getting side by side as the lights do go back out on the pace car, so we're ready to line them back up. Matthew Barkhouse will choose the outside here once again. It has rolled for him the last few times that we've gone green flag racing. It'll be Barkhouse, Fortin, Hacker, Schaefer, Alexander, Timmons, Eddie, Powers, Austin, and Delphia, the top 10 here as the iRacing.com pace car is ready to make its left-hand turn. One driver not coming back out onto the raceway. That was Adam Gable. He's been down there since lap number 5. Green flag back into the air, and a great start there by Matthew Barkhouse. He'll be able to clear by the time they get to turn 1.
Oh, a little tap there from Guillaume Fortin as he went underneath the yellow, trying to get underneath the 15 car and just trying to shove him up the racetrack and get himself back into that preferred line that he is enjoying tonight. But it has not quite worked out for him so far, but now he's got to look at his mirror. His championship rival, the 2 of Brian Hacker, is right behind him.
Yeah, you don't want to make a mistake, but you, of course, want to get the track position here early, especially under a restart condition. It's probably the best opportunity you have here. A lot of these seasoned veterans here with the Upstate Racing League, they don't get rattled or make the mistakes very often. As you can see, Matthew Barkhouse has officially taken full command here after the restart. Then it's Guillaume, and then the battles for third between Hacker and Schaefer as they work here into turn one.
Yeah, Hacker and Schaefer completely even side by side. Just behind them, Mike Alexander and Blade Timmons battling it out as they bang doors there through turns 1 and 2. Now that 75 resurging on the 3 and 4, and just in front of him, Brian Hacker starting to get his nose ahead. Now Guillaume Fortin, he's going to look to the high side this time as he's going to try to get himself for the race lead.
Trying to see if he can build the momentum up in car number 13 to get around. Oh, there is a mistake by the number 15, Matthew Barkhouse, in the middle of the corner. Switched lanes and started to slide there with that number 15 machine. Here comes now Guillaume Fortin. He'll work to the inside. Not going to quite get the run off turn number 2. He'll have to fall back into the second position as they're still lined up 2 by 2, though, behind the second place machine. Schaefer in the Epic Media, number 6, still working the bottom side with Brian Hacker to the outside. Then it's Blade Timmons and Mike Alexander. Logan Powers back there just trying to figure out a way around the rolling roadblocks that are in front of him here in the early portions.
It looks like Guillaume is faster. Oh, big bit of contact there between the 6 and the 2, and that caused the 6 to nearly spin to the inside of the 2 of Brian Hacker. He caught the wall coming down the front straightaway. Looks like both of those cars are fine. They're going to keep going, and hopefully that won't cause any issues further down in this race.
See a couple of them as they come by the start-finish line, still trying to find their way to the bottom side of the speedway. One car off the pace. I believe that is the Ryan Holland entry. But back here at the front of the field, it is still Barkhouse Fortin running away single file with Hacker and Schaefer still side by side. A little bit deeper into the field there. That is the green number 88 of Matthew Eddy. He's to the outside of Ty Delphia. Then there's the 88 of McLean to the outside, and the 66 of Stephen Rochefort. Rochefort picked up a win in the season opener here with the series this past season. As right now, he's trying to knock himself into the top 10 with Bill Martin just outside the top 10. He's running 13th there for car number 39.
And then Brian Hacker finally found his way around Joe Schaefer Jr. as he will get himself into third place. And now Schaefer is under attack from the 75 of Mike Alexander. However, that outside lane is just able to carry so much more momentum down the straightaway that he's able to fight off the 75 car.
Race leaders are going to find themselves working into lap traffic here in just a couple of moments as Matthew Barkhouse and Guillaume Fortin setting a blistering pace here in the early portions. That's actually the 92 of Adam Turner, as I believe we called that the wrong machine here. We called that the Ryan Holland entry a minute ago. It is actually going to be Adam Turner going another lap down as he sticks himself to the outside.
Not too hard to mix those cars up, as I believe they are both teammates and running fairly similar paint schemes, but that 92 is just going to keep himself up the racetrack, keep himself out of everyone's way as the field will make his way through around him. And Logan Powers, though, in that 31 car, he's getting his nose to the outside of the 23 of Timmons, and he's going to try to challenge on that outside.
Everybody's pretty much settled themselves out inside the top 10 except for Logan Powers as he's trying to power around the outside. He has definitely shown a lot of speed here with the Upstate Racing League this season, coming in as a rookie, an unknown factor. He has a couple podium finishes already this season, and now he's trying to sneak his way into the backside of the top 5 as Blade Timmons will give way, and that will drop Timmons back to 7th. Powers has picked up 3 spots here in the first 39 laps of the evening here tonight at South Boston Speedway. So as he now takes over the 6th spot, the next car out ahead of him will be car number 75. That'll be Mike Alexander.
Yeah, field looking pretty much single file now as everyone's just trying to save their tires and try to get those positions maybe later on in the race, as everyone's still also searching the track for grip. We see a few different lines. The cars trying to go in 1 or 2 lanes up in the corners, and also taking different lines through 1 and 2, because turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are both different. Each side of the track, the first 2 turns are a little bit tighter, 3 and 4 are a little wider, and we're seeing some of the drivers kind of varying the lines, trying to figure out which way is actually faster around here right now.
Driver that has picked up the most spots that has a fast machine here tonight to be car number 15 of Tyler Bushy. There you see the 9's Taxi Maple City Auto entry. Bushy, a newcomer to the Upstate Racing League on the dirt side of things this past season, and now here on the asphalt side of things. He's running just ahead of the driver out of Crossville, Tennessee. There's Racing Jason. Jason's got a package that just left the Turn 3 studios here today, headed down to Tennessee, so he should see that in the next couple of days. Look, race fans, if you want a good laugh, make sure to follow Racing Jason over there on Facebook and wait to see what package shows up from the studio.
Yeah, unfortunately, that 98 Pontiac of his is not looking to be in very good shape. He's got some heavy damage to the right front that was, I believe, caused in the first caution here tonight. So still trying to just get as many spots as he can out of that 98 car and try to just salvage this race as much as he can.
Well, Kelly, Pontiac built excitement, and it must have been just too much excitement there for Dobbs as the caution flag flies here for the third time on lap number 46. I believe possibly Adam Turner as he rolls away here from the scene, and Gavin Isley involved in this one to bring out the third caution flag of the evening. Let's take the look. Watch the 92 here as he's working the outside of the speedway. Everybody working the bottom side on him. See, he disappeared momentarily, and then he reappeared, and that's what's going to trigger the caution flag.
Yeah, it looks like he just lost the back end on his own coming out of turn number 4 there. Just couldn't quite maintain that car, and that sent him around down the front straightaway, and that is going to cost him one lap as he had to wait for the entire field to roll by before he could get that car straightened out.
So the 92 there, Turner bringing out that caution flag. I noticed, Kelly, a couple drivers coming to pit road here.
Yeah, we're going to have a few drivers coming down to take tires, but we'll have to see if that's going to help them, as there's still a little over half of this race left to go, but the whole lead pack still staying out for now. I think at this point last week we had seen the entire field, or pretty much the entire field, come down for those right side tires, and that really worked out for them in the end because they were able to have that speed early on and didn't have to pass as many cars as those that took tires later in the race.
Taking a look at the scoring monitor, I believe 9 cars, so the top 9 on the scoring are going to be staying out here. Everybody else has come down for 2 tires, so Joe Schaefer Jr. is being scored back into the 10th position now. There you see the Epic Media number 6, and then it's Hacker, Austin, Eddie, Rochefort, Delphia, Hantoon, McLean, Holland, Peak, Bianchi, Powers, and Hoyle all came to pit road. Lead lap cars that gave up their running position coming to pit road. Drivers that will stay out, though, your race leader of Matthew Barkowski, Fortin, Mike Alexander, Blade Timmons, Bill Martin, Al Smith, Tyler Bushy, Jason Dobbs, and Jimmy McIntyre. All drivers that stayed out and will be on the older tires. Call it 47-ish lap old tires here compared to fresh ones here as we get ready to double them back up.
Yeah, maybe even less, because there's already been 3 cautions here tonight, so there's maybe been 40 laps of green flag running on those tires, so I don't think too much life has been taken out of them, but at the same time, if they pit later, they may have fresher tires, but there's going to be a lot of cars in front of them that took tires earlier on tonight.
So we'll see which strategy is the right one to roll the dice here with your tax return. And spend it over at Al's Speed Shop. As we're back green flag racing here at the South Boston Speedway. Barkhouse that time not getting such a great start on the outside. Guillaume going to be able to pull right there on the quarter panel out of turn number 2. As Matthew Barkhouse, though, into 3 will slam the door shut.
Yeah, Barkhouse just having such a better run on that outside lane, just has so much more speed down the front straightaway. But look at that, Guillaume Fortin getting right up to his rear bumper in the corners. It looks like Guillaume is faster through the corners, but just can't quite find a way to get around that 15 car.
Maybe Matthew Barkhouse trying to pace the field here and set a lower, hurt rate on those tires. Talk about hurt rate, though. Oh, boy, got to watch out for the old boy in the 98. He's going to have to work harder than a cucumber in a woman's prison right now with all those fresh tires behind him. There's Bushy in the number 15 holding the bottom side of the speedway. There's the 98 of Dobbs, and everybody on new tires lined up, stacked up, jelly tight behind them.
Yeah, no one can find a way around as Dobbs is just hanging onto that car. It looks like he's getting loose off of every corner here. However, he cannot get around the 81 of McIntyre, and McIntyre can't clear him either. It's just behind them, the 88 of Eddie looks to be just in a little bit of trouble. He's able to maintain control of that car, though.
As we watch this, the battle, though, for the race lead side by side. Here comes Guillaume in car number 13 to the outside at the line. Matthew Barkhouse has still led the first 56 laps here this evening at the South Boston Speedway. But could we have a possibility of a brand new race leader? Nosing ahead down into turn number 3 is the 13 of Guillaume Fortin at the line. Give it to the driver of the 13. New race leader here to lead lap number 57.
And Guillaume just needed to find a way to the outside of that 15 car as he was not able to make the pass on the bottom side. Finally was able to get to the right quarter panel of the 15 and forced Barkhouse to give him that lane, and that just allowed him to roll past on that high side.
Everybody back here still trying to get around the cars that have not pitted. Bushy and McIntyre side by side. Then it's Hacker, then Schaefer. Hacker and Schaefer both have new tires. One driver that's been swallowed up here is Dobbs. He stayed out in that Pontiac there. You see the orange Pontiac. That Celsius-sponsored entry here tonight for the driver out of Tennessee has now fallen outside the top 10. He's running 13th right now. That's still plus 10 from where he started tonight there as Stephen Rochford goes through on the bottom side. Scott Austin going to try and follow suit also. So Dobbs now just in survival mode here. And I'm just seeing it, Kelly. It's about, a 3-second difference from the drivers that put tires on to the front of the field.
Yeah, they were really held up by that logjam that is now starting to clear as the 81 is forced to that high side. Now all the cars that have fresh tires are going through on the bottom. Brian Hacker, the first of those fresh tire takers to get himself through, and now he has got a long way to go for him to catch up to the next car ahead of him, which is the 96 of Al Smith Jr., and even longer to the front of the field. There's a 3-second gap between himself and his championship rival, the current leader of this race, 13 of Guillaume Fortin, as a caution comes out.
Well, that bunched the field back up there as we were showing you the onboard camera there with Brian Hacker to see what the distance was for him. But now it is going to be the W6 of Michael Peake. Take a look back here. This is the caution flag that just flown here on lap number 63. Oh, Dobbs checked up, and I believe that was Rodney Hanzun into the back of Dobbs. That turned him down into the W6 of Michael Peake. So wrong place, wrong time for the driver out of New York. And it looks like smoke bellowing out of the number 6 or W6 as he pulled away.
That W6 went hard into the wall, nose first. I think his night is going to be done. That engine is not going to hang on as he comes down pit road to try to get some repairs, but that is going to cost him a number of laps before he's going to be able to get back out there again.
And actually, Dobbs got checked up there, but because I believe that was Tyler Bushy that got into the wall. So, chain reaction on all fronts here to bring out this caution flag. And, well, your race leaders are staying out here once again, as one driver will get a wave around. That'll be the number 18 of Gavin Isley, the driver out of New York, a rookie here on the asphalt program side of things. He'll get the wave around, lucky dog, and he'll be scored into, I believe, what will be the 22nd position on the lead lap.
Well, we will be crossing the halfway point in this race here under this caution, so we'll have to see what the strategy is for these lead cars, as there's still a few of them towards the front. The top 5 looks like have not taken tires just yet, but if they were to come down pit road at this point, they would be all the way back in the field, probably back by about 15th or so. So it would be a hard ask to really get for them to really get through the entire field before the end of the race, especially as they get later on in this race.
Yeah, I believe at this point now your race leaders, they have played the strategy that they're going to play. I don't think they're going to come to pit road because it's just not going to be worth it. It's going to be too many drivers stacked up in front of them to try and pick their way through. And we've seen tires did mean something on that restart, but now they have some laps on them, a heat cycle. We will see how they fire off, because that first car that will fire off will be the black number 2 there, the Austin Designs number 2. That'll be Brian Hacker. We're keeping a close eye on him. He's got to get around Bill Martin, Mike Alexander, Blade Timmons, Guillaume Fortin, and Matthew Barkhouse. All the drivers that are in front of them on the older tires. Everybody else behind them have come down pit road. And some of the drivers that stayed out, like Dobbs, well, he came to pit road with Al Smith and Jimmy McIntyre under this caution flag.
Well, pace car down on the way, green flag is out, and for the first time, Guillaume Fortin controls the field, and he rockets off into turn number 1 as he's just trying to build a gap and hope those cars behind him can hold up that 2 of Brian Hacker.
So right now, Guillaume Fortin, Matthew Barkhouse are single file, and then it's Blade Timmons and Mike Alexander who are side by side as Timmons up the raceway a little bit, going to force the 75 a little high down into the corner. Brian Hacker just kind of boxed in right now because he's got Bill Martin to the inside of him, and he's got Timmons and Alexander running side by side just out ahead of him as they cross the line. Once again, 70 laps completed here tonight in the Al Speed Shop. Tax season's over, 125.
We saw earlier on in this season a driver that tried to make the tires last the entire race and ended up blowing his right front. So we'll have to see if these drivers that are up towards the front of the field that have not taken tires are able to make them last this entire race distance. As that two of Brian Hacker cannot get around the cars in front of him, and Guillaume Fortin is just opening a gap over the field just a couple laps into this green flag run here, and he is already over 0.6 of a second ahead of the next car.
Yeah, taking a peek at Brian Hacker's machine there, you see the Black Austin Designs number 2. Running back into the 5th spot, he got around the doctor of Bill Martin last time by. Let's take a look. Guillaume, this time a 15.25 at the line. Hacker a 15.31, so Hacker definitely being slowed up in the traffic here back. He's running in 5th currently.
It's almost starting to seem like the tires weren't exactly worn, but just overheated. And maybe they are given enough of an opportunity to cool down under caution that is allowing these drivers that did not take tires to maintain the pace, especially after the fresh tires kind of wore off that at least initial grip. So it does not seem like there's that much of a grip difference between that black number 2 and the rest of these drivers up in the top 5.
And a couple drivers that are buried back into the field trying to work their way back through. There is Joe Schaefer Jr. He's back there running into the 15th spot. You see him trying to get around the number 15 of Tyler Bushy. Bushy to the outside. There's Jimmy McIntyre. He's got fresher tires back there in car number 81. Then it's the boss man of Al Smith. He's got the fresher tires in the Upstate Promotions, number 96. And then you got Racing Jason right there also. He went down pit road under that caution flag. They all put fresh tires on, but they're just buried deep into the field. You saw how Brian Hacker's not able to make up a lot of ground. Well, being back there, it's even tougher as it's the Hornets' nest tonight.
Yeah, there's also not a ton of space to get around other drivers. I mean, there's definitely a lot more than we had at Oxford Plains, as we've got a second lane really working on that high side, but it's still very difficult. And if you've got two drivers that are both on worn tires in front of you going side by side, there's not really an option for you to maybe open up a third lane. But now taking a look at Brian Hacker, he is trying to find a way around the 23 of Timmons, but really not finding any sort of opportunities. He dives down there on the exit of turn 4, getting below the yellow line on the apron, but just can't quite get his nose to that inside fender.
Trying to do everything, as that time it looked like he was going to get a great run off of turn number 2. Just did not materialize for him. This time in turn 3 and 4, he puts all 4 tires down below the line, and it's still not able to do anything with the number 23 that's out in front of him. Laps are ticking down here tonight at the South Boston Speedway as your race leader has opened up the biggest gap that we've seen all night long, 0.6 of a second as he comes by to complete lap number 82. Guillaume Fortin will start to lurk into lap traffic, though. Let's take a ride. There is one car out in front of him. That's the car number 92 of Adam Turner. Will be the first car your race leaders come to here, and it probably will be next time when they get to 3 and 4.
Yeah, on the initial start of this run here, after the caution period finished, Guillaume Fortin rocketed ahead of the rest of the field, but ever since, he's kind of maintained a gap of 0.6 of a second. It looks like he was just trying to open up a bit of a gap and a bit of a buffer, and is now starting to get into the a bit of a tire saving mode as he's just trying to maintain the lead that he's currently built over that 15 car.
Yeah, as you see, that is Matthew Barkhouse back there in second with Mike Alexander, the team car, back into the third spot. Blade Timmons, Brian Hacker, as the caution lights are coming on. Couple of them turn around. The Culpeppers Bakery Cafe, number 14 of Brian Bianchi. And I believe that is the Colony Tire and Service Center, number 54 of Rex Hoyle. Hoyle going to turn her around here and possibly bring her to pit road as he's trying to get it turned around. He'll go a lap down, unfortunately, there. So Bianchi, Hoyle, and I believe Logan Powers, I'm being told, is the other machine involved. Let's take a look. There is the 13 of Tydelphia right there. Tydelphia got turned around from Bianchi. They made the little contact, and Rex Hoyle nowhere to go with the number 54. Just kind of an innocent bystander on that one. Take a ride. Let's ride on board here with Brian Bianchi.
Yeah, Bianchi just carrying a little bit too much speed there through turn number 4. Gets into the back of that 013 of Delphia, and that just sends him around and Also getting into the back of him was that 88, who was left with really no other option. But Rex Hoyle ends up pretty much coming away with the worst of it, despite the fact that he avoided all the other cars. He just locked his tires up and spun it down, but unfortunately nosed hard into that inside wall.
So Rex going to be dropped back to what looks like is the 21st position, 1 lap down. Not sure what happened here. Blade Timmons actually giving up his running position. Something going wrong here with the Timmons entry, as this will be another trip to pit road for Blade Timmons in car number 23. I don't have him pitting. Yeah, he's pitted once before, so the 23 of Timmons going to come down. He's going to put left side tires now on the number 23. At this point, they're going to try anything because they are deep into the field.
Yeah, maybe hoping those left sides are going to help him, as pretty much everyone else is only taking right sides. I don't imagine that you're able to do all 4 tires without going a lap down here on this short little bull ring.
Looking at it right now, the race leader will be Guillaume Fortin. I'm going to suspect he will choose the outside lane here, so that'll put Matthew Barkhouse to the inside of row number 1, Mike Alexander to the inside of row number 2, and then it'll be Brian Hacker, who has new life, as Matthew Barkhouse just trying to get low, I guess. He wasn't actually coming to pit road. It confused me for a moment. It just went out of the corner of the frame, and I am like, he cannot be pitting from kind of restart to the inside row here.
Yeah, maybe trying to fake someone out, or just trying to get down to where the asphalt's a little bit cooler and get a little bit more grip on those tires. But yeah, he is going to maintain his spot on the inside of that front row, but Guillaume Fortin holding the outside lane, holding that leader's spot. Pace car now going to go down and away, and that 13 car is going to rocket off there on the green flag. And now here comes the 2 of Brian Hacker. Oh, and I think I just heard an engine blow up towards the back of the field.
It looks like one driver slow might be Rex Hoyle here as we stay green flag racing, as Guillaume Fortin has pulled away here, with Matthew Barkhouse trying to hold off the number 2 of Brian Hacker. Hacker side by side with Mike Alexander, and then they're doubled up, a little sideways action for the doctor of Bill Martin. He's got the 66 of Stephen Rochford, and Rochford has picked up the most spots here. 8 spots net gain for car number 66 of Stephen Rochford, and there's still laps and still drivers out ahead of him for him to go get.
And he's got that outside lane that we have seen working so well throughout the night, as he gets that better momentum coming off the corner. And he's going to now finally get himself clear of the 39 of Bill Martin. He's now going to try to go down to the inside, see if he can get the 75 of Mike Alexander. I think a little bit of a difference in the tires between those 2 cars as well. I believe Rochford may have pit earlier, and I know that 75 of Alexander has stayed out this entire race.
Yeah, Rochford, one of the drivers that came to pit road back on lap number 47. So Hacker and Rochford inside the top 5 with the fresher tires of the group. Side by side, Matthew Eddy. The 88s are wild right now, as there's McLean to the outside. There's Eddy to the inside. Then Joe Schaefer Jr. got saved by that caution flag. Remember, he was back there right around the 17th position. Now Joe Schaefer Jr. back into the top 10 and looking for more as he just got around Ty Delphia. Logan Powers also back there in the scrum.
Yeah, 31 of Powers trying to work that bottom lane. The 31 and the 013 battling side by side now through turns 1 and 2. And neither one really able to get any sort of ground on the other, as that 31 just barely nosing ahead, is now the 6 just in front of them. Joe Schaefer Jr., he's going to get around the 88 of Matt Eddy, as Eddy really got loose on the exit of that last turn.
Yeah, he's using all the power that Buick can put down to the ground. 99 laps will be in the books this time. Guillaume Fortin still the race leader. He's out to a 0.3 of a second lead over Barkhouse, and then it's Hacker, who is equally just as far up. Kind of all 3 leaders equal distance, and then there's Mike Alexander, who still has a 66 all over the back end of him. But the battles are still behind the race leaders, right around that 10th position for McLean, who's going to lose the spot. Joe Schaefer Jr. will pick up the 8th spot.
Yeah, Joe Schaefer Jr. finally getting himself ahead, as the 31 of Logan Powers, just a little bit behind them, got around the 88 of Matt Eddy to take over 11th. Now trying to get himself into the top 10 as he goes to the outside of Ty Delphia. Side by side now down the back straightaway, completely even between the 2 of them, nose to nose, but that 31 going to have that better lane, a little bit more speed coming off the corner. However, not much he can do with it, as that 88 of McLean slides up in front of him.
Just behind them, Jimmy McIntyre also side by side with the 96 of Al Smith Jr. Smith down to the inside, and he'll slide a little bit. Blade Timmons, remember he came to pit road. Well, the 23 has been able to work his way back into the 15th position with just 22 laps remaining here tonight at the South Boston Speedway. 22 laps until we decide. Oh, contact by the boss man into Jimmy McIntyre. Al Smith was looking at the inside wall, was able to hold it. Now Timmons is trying to find a way around these two cars as they're trying to still gather up their marbles out there.
Yeah, and these two are battling out just in front of them as well. The 31 and the 88 of Matt McLean are also battling, as that 31 has been diving to the inside every time, but McLean fighting him off on that high side. Now they nearly make contact going down the front straightaway. That 31 just tried to slot up in behind him on the straight.
So they single file it out for the time being. The only drivers that are battling side by side are Mr. Al Smith and Jimmy McIntyre. So if your name is a junior here tonight, except for Joe Schaefer Jr., you're buried back here in traffic, and you are side by side. More contact there for Smith into the left rear of Jimmy McIntyre.
Yeah, once again, though, Al is able to hold on to the car, but that's, just behind them, big crash for the 14 of Bianchi. Caution will come out once again. Bianchi hard into the inside wall in the front straightaway.
He'll turn the Mackey, number 14, back around here, trying to stay on the lead lap, grabbing some gears, and he will. The sixth caution flag of the evening will come out with just 17 laps here at the South Boston Speedway remaining. Let's take a look. We saw it live, but let's take the look. Watch the number 14 of Brian Bianchi here down to the inside. Trying to get around the old Dobbs machine. Little contact there. Dobbs was fighting. He saw the hands working, and then unfortunately, him and Bianchi come together fighting for the same real estate off the corner. And that will bring out our caution flag right on board here with Brian Bianchi. You're just going to see him just make a little contact. And that's all it was. It was enough to upset that number 14 and send Bianchi around.
Yeah, unfortunate situation for that 14 car as he also hit the outside wall as he was trying to get himself turned back around. So damage to both sides of the front end of that 14 machine, and that will really put a damper on his night as he's going to be way back in the field as well.
I believe one car getting a wave around is going to be Tyler Bushy, so Bushy will get a lap back here. That'll put 20 cars on the lead lap here tonight as we work the sixth caution flag of the evening. We got to thank everybody tonight for tuning in, watching us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network as we bring you live coverage of the Best Golf Creations Pro Series presented by the Upstate Racing League right here at the South Boston Speedway for the Al Speed Shop. Tax season is over 125. Al Smith hopes you race fans have gone and filed your taxes because today was the deadline to get those taxes done. So the boss man who does taxes for his 9 to 5, he says his books are closed. He's done for the season.
And like we said earlier, he knows your tax returns are going to be coming, and he's hoping you're going to be spending some of those tax returns at his speed shop. So if you got some RC cars and needing some RC equipment or parts, make sure you head over to Al's Speed Shop and see what he's got in store for you.
There you see the boss man himself, the Upstate Promotions, the Stand RC Speedway machine, back there into 15th. You thought the caution flag was going to be Al Smith with how sideways he was, but he was able to hold on to it. Maybe he's promoting how to drift yet with these machines, as I believe we should get the sign to double these bad boys up this time so we can turn them back loose here. It'll be just about 11 laps remaining, maybe 12 laps remaining when we go back racing here.
Yeah, Guillaume Fortin once again going to be holding on to that outside lane. That is just the lane you want to be in if you're battling another car. Pace car is going to dive for the safety of pit road, possibly for the final time tonight. As green flag back up in the air, Guillaume Fortin rocketing into turn number 1 as the 15 of Barkos not getting a good start, and that's going to actually check up that inside lane, and that's going to allow the 75 of Mike Alexander. Oh, he actually gets loose off of turn 2 and nearly gets into the black 2 of Brian Hacker.
Yeah, Hacker restarting on the inside that time. One into the wall again. That's going to be the number 39 of Bill Martin. He'll pancake the side of that car. I think he's trying to make this track wider and wider. It's just the wall isn't moving.
You know, he is trying to knock the wall down, and unfortunately his car is not as hard as that wall, as now he's going to try to cross over the 66. The 66, though, of Roachford going to dive down to the inside through turns 1 and 2, and that is going to block the 39, who is now going to be under attack from the 6 of Schaefer Jr. Schaefer rolling that outside lane, trying to see if he can get himself back into the top 5.
Yeah, we must have missed it somewhere, Kelly. Joe Schaefer Jr., he came to pit road on lap number 64. He has the freshest tires out of all the drivers inside the top 10 as he's trying to claw back into a top 5 position here late in this one. 8 laps to go. Everybody chasing Guillaume Fortin, Matthew Barkhouse, Mike Alexander, Brian Hacker, and then it is Stephen Rochefort with Joe Schaefer on the outside of the top 5.
Yeah, but these tires aren't the end-all, be-all, as we've seen, as the top, I think, 3 have not pit at all and are just making those tires last as we are getting towards the tail end of this race. Just a few more laps in the books here, as we got Guillaume Fortin still holding a 0.3 of a second race lead over Matthew Barkhouse. But that 15 car is trying to chase down the 13 so that he can go for 3 wins in a row here at South Boston.
His other wins have come in a super late model. This is the limited late model here on iRacing, as this time when they come by the flag stand, it'll be 5 laps to go. 5 fingers into the air here tonight. Here comes Joe Schaefer. He's coming for the 5th position. That is going to be Stephen Rochefort as the caution flag will fly here once again. As I believe I'm being told, the 14 of Brian Bianchi may have looped it around with just 5 laps to go.
Yeah, Bianchi once again looks like he got involved with a 98. That time it sent him spinning down to the front stretch once more. And a hard impact with that inside wall is going to end his night as he has already pulled that thing behind the wall.
So an unfortunate night here for the Barmaki, number 14 of Brian Bianchi, as this will be a night he would like to forget. So, Kelly, if I'm taking my shoes off and I'm doing the math here to this, I believe this might take us to overtime here tonight at the South Boston Speedway.
We'll have to see. I believe you're going to be right here. It's either going to be that or a one-lap shootout, as we are still pacing here. We have to keep an eye on the lights on that pace car and see what the iRacing race control will decide for us.
Well, we have a great shot of the iRacing.com pace car lights here tonight, riding on board the race leader of Guillaume Fortin. See if he comes by here. Will the lights go out, or will we have to go to overtime? We're going to have to go to overtime because they just waved around car number 92 of Adam Turner. So this race going to overtime. Kelly, what's the overtime rules here tonight at South Boston?
Well, we are going to have one shot to make this work, and once we go green, if a yellow flag comes out, that will end the race. However, if the leaders can make it all the way around to the start-finish line and receive the white flag, there will be no cautions, and we will race all the way to the checkered no matter what happens on this racetrack.
So we're looking to see if we can get the one-to-go marker, double them up, and then drop the green flag. Come back around, take that white flag, and be the best man come back to the checkered flag. First will be our winner here tonight. Looks like Guillaume in the 13QC. It looks like he knows exactly where he wants to restart, and it'll be to the outside lane, as that's where he is rolling car number 13. We've seen the race leader all night long here so far at South Boston choose the outside lane and get a great jump. Maybe Matthew Barkhouse will be able to hold serve. He didn't quite get up to speed on the last restart. Maybe that number 15, though, is ready to fire off, trying to get those tires as cool as he can.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if he can maybe time the jump of Guillaume Fortin. Lights are out on the pace car. We are going to get these cars stacked up for one last run here to the checkered flag.
So as we get ready, it'll be Guillaume Fortin to the outside with Matthew Barkhouse to the inside. Green-white checker attempt. One attempt here tonight at the South Boston Speedway. Let's see which one of these drivers are going to be eating some of those best colorful creations. Cake Pops in victory lane here tonight. As the pace car in, and Guillaume Fortin going to go very early. Chase me if you can, as the popsicle sticks along with the green flag are flying once again here at South Boston.
Matthew Barkhouse trying to slide up and block that high lane. He's going to tag the wall, and that's going to bring the 2 of Hacker along with them. Both of them scraping and getting away with it, though. Brian Hacker going to eventually get his nose ahead of that 75 of Alexander. White flag in the air for Guillaume Fortin. One more time around the racetrack for the 13 QC.
Final time into 3 and 4 here tonight. Guillaume with a 2-car length race lead as the checkered flag is flying. It'll be Guillaume Fortin, Matthew Barkhouse, and Brian Hacker. One flipping coming across the line.
Guillaume Fortin going to go back-to-back here in the Upstate Racing League, take 2 overtime wins in a row, as he won last week as well at Oxford Plains, and he is going to take an even more commanding points lead in the championship.
Congratulations, bumped there by car number 23 of Blade Timmons. Timmons pitted late, came back to a 9th place finish here at the South Boston Speedway, as the G-Man will do the donuts on the front straightaway. As he does the donuts, we'll take a quick step away here from the South Boston Speedway. We're talking to the G-Man along with Matthew Barkhouse and Brian Hacker right after these messages. Race fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back here, race fans, to the South Boston Speedway. Is a little bit of overtime here tonight for your tax dollars here tonight for the Yal Speed Shop. Tax season is over, 125. Just a couple of extra laps from the South Boston Speedway here tonight to figure out which one of these drivers we're going to be eating the Best Colorful Creations Cake Pops in Victory Lane, and we can officially say it's going across the border here tonight. As Kelly, I believe you're standing by with the driver that will pick up another win here on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, caught up now with the driver in the number 13 QC machine, Guillaume. You were one of the only drivers to not take tires here tonight. How did you make those right sides last?
Oh yeah, I was afraid at the start because everybody took tire, but I think I did a good job for the first 50 lap to kind of take care of the right front and just ride behind Matt and just try to save my stuff. And at the end, we had like a lot of caution that helped me I cool down my tire, and at the end, track position matter at this track. It's so hard to pass, so I think I did a great job staying out.
Well, you say it was hard to pass, but it looked like there was a couple lanes working here tonight. I mean, what lane was really the best for you to run? We saw you just kind of restart on the high side every time, though.
Yeah, I really like the bottom when I was alone, but when you have somebody on your inside, it's easier to defend the position, so that's why I took the outside. And you have so much of a run coming to once. You can clear the guy pretty easily if you get a good start, so that's why I took the outside. And it's so hard to make a pass on the bottom, so if Matt didn't let me have the outside there in turn one, I think he had the win taken away from me.
Well, next week, I believe we're going off to Langley Speedway, and do you think you're going to be able to make it 3 in a row there?
Hopefully, I'll be able to, but my goal is just to have some great finish and try to be there for the championship at the end. And that's what we're doing so far, so hopefully we'll have a decent finish again next week.
All right, well, before we let you go, Guillaume, who would you like to thank for your win here tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I have to thank my sponsor, Gestion LPG. They're doing all kind of pit box, workstation too, so hit them up if you need anything. Also, Al Smith for putting this league, and you guys for broadcasting this race.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, Guillaume, and hopefully we'll hear from you next week in Langley.
Thank you.
That was our winner here tonight, Guillaume Fortin, driver of the number 13. Now we're going to be moving along here, going to be passing it on to Roger, who I believe is caught up with our second place finisher.
Yeah, I got car number 15 standing here, and the car's not standing, but the driver's standing here. It's car number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Matt, a great run for this car. Showed a lot of speed early. Looks like one slip up here tonight is what put you back to that second position.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I had lots of speed in the car. I was watching Guillaume there, and he peeked to the outside a couple times, and I seen it coming, so I moved up a lane just to kind of block it. The high side was the only really way to pass, especially halfway through at the end, and he kind of caught me off guard. I was sleeping behind the wheel for a second, and he just beat me to it, and there's nothing you can do after that. So hats off to him for making those kind of moves and being able to get out there and me not paying attention.
So you had a lot of chances here tonight at restarts. Were you able to get this 15 going, or what did you need on those restarts to get back around Guillaume to take the race lead?
It would have had to been fresh tires at the very end. Like there was, even with Brian on his other tires at the back there, it seemed like it started to not work as much once you got near the front. Once you cooled the tires down, they had probably about 10 really good laps left in them. The only way you would have got by a guy on the bottom is if you moved him up the hill, and a lot of us don't do that here, so it was a good job by Guillaume.
We've seen a lot of speed in this 15 in the early portion here of the season. What has clicked this year for, the chassis or the driver here tonight?
I think the car, I have decent speed. I've just been driving kind of dumb, I guess. I've been putting my nose where it shouldn't belong, so I haven't been getting the finishes where I've had the speed at, so it's good to finally have a decent finish out of it and move on to next week, hopefully some better momentum.
Yeah, you talk about us next week. What do you think next week? We do head to Langley for the Beth Sweet Frosting 125.
I think there could be an outside lane like there was at Oxford. You see, and I think a couple of us were 3 wide on the top with fresh tires. With the way the track is now picking up rubber on the outside lines, you might see a better race than just the bottom line again, which should make a good race.
We'll hope that is the case when we head to Langley next week. But what do you say we let you get out of here, turn some laps, get ready for that race here 1 week from now, Matt, with a second-place finish. Who makes this all possible on this beautiful number 15?
Yeah, thanks to Xander Sign Group, our kinsmans, and of course Al for keeping this league going. It's the best league around, and you guys for these great broadcasts. It makes it a whole lot more enjoyable and more fun to watch after the fact.
Well, he's got a very fast number 15, and he shows it here again tonight. He's the only driver to start and finish in the same position. Matthew Barkhouse here tonight will finish P number 2. I believe, Kelly, you're standing by with the driver that, he pitted late and came back for third.
Yeah, caught up now with the driver, the number 2, Brian Hacker. And Brian, you were one of those drivers that took tires early on in this race. What was it like trying to carve through the field on that fresh rubber?
The first restart after we pitted was real sketchy. Honestly, there were a couple guys that were battling in front of us on older tires, and we were so much quicker when they were brand new, and trying to stay patient and let those guys figure it out, and they were staying side by side, and I was getting the door put to me, and I was putting the door on others, and then eventually we got through. It was pretty sketchy, and then by the time we got up with some of the quick guys that didn't pit, we had enough heat cycles on these things that I think they were maybe a little bit better, but it wasn't noticeable, not enough to really get a run and be able to really pass somebody based on tires alone.
Well, you won 2 races in a row, and now Guillaume's won 2 races in a row. How are you going to answer back in this championship battle?
I'll just wreck them. No, I'm not going to do that. But, we're in another league together right now, too, and it's been very similar over there. It's been, a battle, just, tooth and nail, back and forth. I'll win some, he'll win some. I'll have a good run, he'll have a good run. We finished within, 2 or 3 spots of each other damn near every race we've been in together for the last 4 or 5 months, so it's been a lot of fun. He's a good guy, he races really clean, he's fast as hell, so glad to call him a buddy, and he's a hell of a competitor.
Well, looking at your stats here, I don't think you have had a run this good in the Upstate Racing League so far. I mean, what's kind of clicking for you? Has it just been the switch back to the late model stock?
Maybe partially that. I feel like I've made some strides in maybe the off season, the URL off season, so to speak, and I've run some other leagues, and we've run really well there, and I think it's just putting some of that all together. I do miss the super lates at times. I wish these cars feel a little more in the track, but they do lack a little bit of power. It'd be fun to run these with some more horsepower. I think that'd be a blast. But I don't know. I think it's a combination of everything, and hopefully just some of the things I've been learning along the way starting to click and show in the results.
Well, you've been around here enough to, I think, know what's coming up next. We're going to give you the floor. Who would you like to thank for your third place run tonight?
I'd like to thank Scott Austin Designs, always putting a good-looking car on the track. Aberdeen Lodge, Carbon Junction, Boulder Beer Bar. Thanks to you guys. Who's the race sponsor tonight? What's this thing called?
It was Al. Al's the race sponsor.
Well, forget him. But no, thanks to Al and Al's Speed Shop and all the Upstate promotions and all the stuff that Al does. He's got about 1,000,001 hobbies, so support his hobbies, and he's out there doing good things for the community. So that's about it. Hopefully we can talk to you a little bit earlier on the podium next week.
Well, thanks for coming and talking to us now, though, Brian, and hopefully we'll hear from you again next week in Langley. But we're going to send it back now to Roger for a few closing thoughts.
Well, you heard from the top 3 drivers here tonight at the South Boston Speedway. A great showing here tonight for the Owl Speed Shop. Tax services over 125 for the Best Golf Creations Pro Series. So these drivers have battled from Oxford Plains here to the South Boston Speedway. Short track racing is what Wednesday night is all about, but it couldn't have got any smaller than Oxford here to the South Boston Speedway. Next week we will head to the Langley Speedway before heading to Southern National Motorsports Park, along with the North Wilkesboro Speedway, Five Flags, and then the undisputed, is it Bristol or is it Lanier? Well, we'll have to see what the boss man of Al Smith says about that, because he can't get it right, probably because he was too busy doing taxes. But now that the tax season is over here in the United States, Al Smith can focus back on getting us that right schedule. So we look forward to seeing that in the next couple of days here. But race fans, it was a great one here tonight where Guillaume Fortin and Matthew Barkhouse battled it out to the very end here. The late race yellow and a restart here to set things up, where Guillaume Fortin was able to pick up another win here with the Upstate Racing League. But that's going to about do it here tonight from the South Boston Speedway, race fans. And until we see you just 1 week from now for the best Sweet Frosting 125 at the Langley Speedway, we hope you all stay safe. And until we see you next time, well, stay safe and eat some of those cake pops.